everyone, welcome back to my channel where we talk about travel and languages. My name is Kristen. If you're clicking on this video, then that means you've made the decision to start learning or get better at a second language in this new year. If that is you, then I'm so excited for you because I honestly believe that's one of the best things you can ever do for yourself. We all know though that New Year's resolutions are sometimes difficult to get to stick in our lives. So I wanted to give you some tips on how to make that language learning stick and how to be consistent with it. Because in the end, you don't want this to be a 1 year and you're done kind of thing. You want it to be a consistent habit that you build so that you can become the kind of person who studies a language every day and eventually become a person who speaks that language. So the number one reason I think that so many people fail to learn a new language or to be consistent with their New Year's goals is that they focus on the end goal more than the systems to get to that end result. So for example, if someone started learning, let's say Japanese, and decided they want to be able to pass the Japanese language proficiency test at level N5 by the end of the year. Okay, so if they're just focusing on wanting to be able to pass that test at the end of the year, nothing else, then they're going to have a tough time being able to stay on track because they don't know how much effort it takes and what kind of effort they need to put in every day to achieve that goal. Scenario number two, let's say that this person said, okay, I'm going to achieve being able to pass the N5 at the end of the year. So how many hours does that take to get to that level? So they go online and they find a website that says that from beginner to level N5 takes 462 hours. So they take 462 divided by 365 and they get 1.26 hours a day if they take no days off. Now this is going in the right direction, but if you say to yourself at the very beginning of trying to learn a new language that you're going to study for an hour and a half every day, which is honestly great if you can do that, and a lot of people think that they can at first, you know, and kind of forget that life happens and, you know, some days are going to be not as good as others. And so what happens to that person is maybe, and what's happened to me in the past actually, is they'll start out really good. They're gonna do maybe even more than that 1 hour and a half every day, and they're gonna feel really awesome about it. And then life happens and they're gonna miss a day, they're gonna miss a couple of days. And then it gets to the point where they've missed so many days, or they feel like they're so busy and they just can't get to their studying habits, and they look at that hour and a half and they say like, that I just can't fit in the time for that, and or it's been so long, I feel like I need to go back and study a whole bunch, and they feel that they've lost their progress and they get frustrated and overwhelmed. And again, I do speak from experience here. So a third scenario, and what I recommend, is you don't look at the end result so much, because if you think about it, learning language isn't about 1 year's time. Learning a language is about becoming the kind of person that studies a language because you love it. So in order to become that person, you need to focus on the systems to get to that place. You need to focus on the things you do every day in order to build up that habit. I've made a video before about building good language learning habits, and I'll link that up here and also in the description below. I was pretty new to editing at the time that I filmed that video, so just ignore that, but it does have some really good tips in there. But kind of to sum up what I say in that video, one thing that I think is really helpful is to track every day that you do your consistent habit. So in scenario number 3, if you are focusing on the things you need to do every day, you would, for instance, say that your goal is to review your flashcards for 10 minutes every day, or to do, like I do, JapanesePod101.com, to do a lesson of that every week and to review all the flashcards from that every day. Or if you're doing maybe an easier language like Spanish, do Duolingo every day. If you at least do that every day, and of course you can do a longer study session when you're really excited and really want to learn more that day, that's fine. But when you have your goal at a much easier bite-sized thing to do every day, it doesn't become something so overwhelming when life happens and when you just don't have the time to put in as you would like to. And over time, if you become the kind of person who consistently studies every single day, even if it's just that 10 minutes a day, you're going to eventually get to that N5 level and beyond faster and maybe easier than someone who makes that goal and makes it hard on themselves and just ends up giving up. One thing I'm implementing into this year to keep me on track is to make a little symbol on my calendar every time that I've completed, for instance, my flashcards every day. So when you're doing that consistently, you see this string of, you know, check marks or stars or whatever you want to put in your calendar, and it becomes so much more motivating because you don't want to break that streak. And if you do, as I kind of mentioned in my video about building a good language habit, make it a rule for yourself that you don't miss twice. So it's okay if you miss once and don't have a check mark on one day, but if you miss twice, that's not good. Because at that point, you're starting to, you know, fall off of your good habit that you've been building. Another thing that I would suggest doing is joining some sort of support group, study group, or just have some friends that are learning that language or speak that language that will motivate you when you're maybe halfway through the year and it's getting a little more difficult and it's harder to get that inner motivation going. For me, one of my support systems is my sister, and we actually get together every quarter and review our goals and adjust them as needed and see how we've done in working towards those goals and like how consistent we have been. This is so much better than getting to the end of the year and realizing that you've really not done what you needed to do to be consistent and work towards those goals. But at the end of a quarter, maybe you'll see that you're not doing what you need to be doing, and then you can step it up from there, and so you haven't wasted the year. So to sum it all up, if you are learning a new language this year, congratulations, and I'm rooting for you. Work on those systems to do every single day. Make your goal daily based. Track your progress, never miss twice. Have some sort of support system, and maybe do those quarterly reviews so that you can see your progress and keep on track. All right, I hope everyone has an awesome year this year, and maybe we'll even get to do some traveling and talk about some travel things this year. We'll see. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.